Hi there, I'm Justin Pritchard, and today we're driving a time machine. This is the Nissan Frontier, a small pickup that's seen competitors come and go, including the Dakota, Canyon, Colorado, B-Series, Ranger, and Tacoma. You're looking at the 2018 model year Frontier in its blacked out midnight edition. Interestingly, other than a few insignificant tweaks, what's on your screen is exactly the same as when this generation of Frontier initially hit the road back in 2004. The gist? This is a brand new 14-year-old truck. Doesn't take more than a quick gander around inside to see that in full effect. This is styling from a totally different era of Nissan design. Back then, Nissan cabins were trying to set themselves apart with unique touches, some inspired by the brand's sports car models. Look at the shape of the steering wheel, or those accent dots on the instrument cluster cowl, or the cluster itself, illuminated in old-school orange with an LED display for the 4x4 system, and that old-school Nissan font on the instrument faces. The central command system has been modernized. You get Bluetooth, text messaging assist, and more. Elsewhere, a charming old-school dial shifter for the 4x4, plenty of at-hand storage, and a rear seat that'll fit two adults snugly or flip and fold as needed for more room for your stuff and things. I'm a great big nerd, so I was perhaps most delighted by the old-school switchgear and buttons and controls and interfaces. And outside, similar effect, the look is a little timeless. It's stood up well, definitely looks like a semi-classic, though not out of place on the road today. And with the Midnight Edition blacking out the wheels and badges and bathing this Chester with a glorious dark gray paint, it's a handsome and athletic-looking machine. Now, Nissan's only selling a few thousand of these a year, not huge volume, and partly that's because most Canadians buy a big truck, not a little one like this. But even though they've literally left this thing untouched, sales have been steady since 2005, and lately they're actually increasing. And remember, since this Frontier came out, most other trucks have been totally overhauled several times. So it seems to me that there's still a shopper who's very interested in driving a pickup that's proven, simple, reliable, and one that works well and leaves well enough alone. Today we've got trucks with twin turbo and carbon fiber body parts and light hybrid electrification, all here now or coming very soon. And if you're not sure whether you'd want to own one of those past the end of its warranty, then something like this makes a lot of sense. Frontier is noted to be solid and reliable, and many owners have nothing but good things to say about them. And sure, it's primitive in some regards today, but actually it's still a fantastic thing to drive, mostly. This one's got the 4-liter V6, 260 horsepower, even more torque, and it's snotty as heck. In fact, there's so much low-end grunt it can be hard to get it off the line without a big slam into your seat. There's a 5-speed automatic. Most vehicles today use at least a 6-speed, and many are going with 8 or 10. But Nissan's built a billion of these 5-speed units and it works fine, so why change it? The ride? Unquestionably pickup truck with a rigid jiggle jounce on rougher roads, but it's managed nicely, rarely becomes uncomfortable, and in all, it's one of my favorite pickup rides. It feels pure truck, but also smooth, comfortable, durable, and dense, even over really rough surfaces. Put simply, it feels tough, but not uncomfortable. There are some other nostalgic touches worth noting, little things like starting the engine. You can feel the starter motor pulsing through the Frontier's body and feel the engine shake a little as it blurts to life, complete with the loud roar from the clutch fan. Or the headlights, which perform well and gloriously turn on and off with the instrument cluster, so you won't accidentally drive at night with your lights off. Also, don't miss the little lick of wind noise you get from the doors when you hit a good bump at highway speeds, thanks to just a touch of flex that breaks the door seals for a split second at times. Good performance from the brakes, decent action at the pedal, and a strong and linear build-up of stopping power when you've got to get stationary in a hurry. Steering is one of my two biggest problems with this Frontier though, and that's because the turning circle is comical. If you're after a truck this size because you want something maneuverable in tight quarters, then forget about it. Frontier's turning circle borders on hilariously large, and it can feel like you're trying to park a grocery store. And my second gripe, the fuel mileage. Not horrible given the power available. Again, this V6 is a proper performer, but she does get fairly thirsty if you're not driving gently. On board, pros and cons. The cabin is trimmed almost entirely in crispy hard plastic, which feels cheap and fails to look impressive, though the surfaces are super easy to clean if they get dirty, and build quality looks and feels quite well done. And it's roomy enough, but not as roomy as any number of crossovers you can find for similar money if you're not set on a pickup. You get all the features you need too: remote entry, cruise, air, power accessories, steering wheel audio controls, and that modern touchscreen infotainment unit. So since the development costs have long been paid off, and since Nissan has spent virtually nothing on updating this machine in well over a decade, you'd assume you could get one for peanuts, right? Well, not quite. This almost top-of-the-line tester is still a 35 grand machine, a touch cheaper perhaps than comparable modern-day competitors, but not by much. Still, Nissan figures the pickup shopper, after simple, proven, and reliable, will still find it to be a good deal, and the steady sales numbers back that up. Frontier starts around $24,000. Thanks for watching. Well, let's see what happens.